Every day our students carry with them much more than what is contained in their backpacks. And if you believe that every behavior is a form of communication, then if you sift through what is behind the behavior, you'll soon realize just how courageous our students are for just showing up. But not to despair, we as educators can do so much more to help them repair the damage done to them. Let's demystify the complexities of becoming a trauma-informed school community. Remember, it's always going to be the little things that have the greatest impact. And it all starts with the educator mindset. So keep this in mind. You don't have to be a therapist to be therapeutic. So with that, let's dive right in. What does all this look like in the classroom? Well, think about that hard-to-reach student that appears to be a million miles away or distant to connect. Don't take it personally that he or she isn't paying attention to your lesson plans that you thought would light up the Las Vegas Strip. It rarely has anything to do with you and all about the demons that are wrestling inside of them. Allow these three components of a trauma-informed community to be your lighthouse. That is, creating a safe environment, building healthy relationships and connectedness, and finally, supporting and teaching emotional regulation skills. So here are a few ways in which you can do that. Next time you see that student off task, instead of bringing attention to the student, use that as your internal barometer to incorporate a mindfulness activity, say a short stretching exercise. You'll find this not only helps that particular student, but will benefit the entire classroom, as well as you, the teacher. You are priming brains for learning. I'm describing a concept called universal design for learning. I call it simply best practices. Your ultimate goal should be to empower your students to know what their triggers are and how to teach them best to mitigate them as they arise. Keep in mind, for students to self-regulate, as I'm describing here, you, the educator, will need to have a command on this first. That process is called co-regulation. So why are we witnessing so many social, emotional deficiencies with our students as young as preschool? Well, let's talk about attachments. If you were raised in a nurturing environment, your needs were typically met when you cried out for help by a soothing parent. This in turn helped you develop social emotional competencies needed to successfully navigate throughout life experiences. Without this nurturing environment, students are stunted in their growth. Hence, the importance of teacher skill sets in this area. Self-regulation cannot occur without co-regulation modeling. No big revelation here, as this is true with any new concepts we teach. Over time, your room will become safe spaces for your students to get their emotional regulation needs met. You begin to see incredible changes, but keep in mind, it won't happen overnight, as students coming from dysfunctional home environments have learned throughout their lifetime that putting trust into adults has caused them much pain and suffering. Betrayal from caregivers are some of the hardest hurts to overcome. Our best response is to flood them with love, as hard as it might be. This is where the real magic happens. Equipping your students with these life skills that they can take with them out the door. You'll find that your students will thrive when empowered. Allowing them to be the director of their own emotional regulation will turn your safe spaces, which are typically designed from an adult privilege lens, into rage spaces, or spaces designed by those impacted the most, your students. Remaining uncompromising in this approach will open the door for trusting relationships to flourish. Let me leave you with a final thought. If trauma-informed sounds too complicated, then call it what it really is. Relational informed. That, my friends, is the secret sauce of our movement.